Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I live in a house near the beach. Can't be haunted as we're the first to inhabit it. But the whole island I live in has weird stuff happening. Reunion Island. The play shack is far in the garden, with consoles and stuff. I often saw someone walking in the house while parents are away and stuff. Of course nobody's there when I go check. Okay, story time. Be like 10. Have this kick-ass Jurassic Park Raptor toy. You know, the one that screeches when you press the legs. Pick related. Screeches like 3 times and stops when you press, if I recall correctly. Play with it all day as usual, in the play shack and the garden. Time to go to sleep, put it on the living room's table. Late at night, hear Raptor screech. Over and over again. Doesn't stop. Can't be the parents, they sleep in a bungalow outside the house, in the garden. It's my dickhead of a brother. He won't escape my wrath. Go to his room, he's sleeping. Screeches come from the living room. See under the door, lights are out. Oh boy. Walk slowly through the hallway. Screeches and screeches. Gets louder as I approach the door. Open the door with lightning speed, shouting, screeching, because fuck horror movie, I'm not the one who gets jump scared at. I'm the one who jump scares. Raptor is on the table, screeching. Nothing around. Room is dead silent. Take the Raptor, it stops. Normally, I'm a terrified coward when it comes to ghosts and stuff, but this time I decided not. I took the Raptor with me in my bedroom. Slept with it, maybe to soothe it, I don't know. Maybe it was sad to sleep alone. He was my best toy, for fuck's sake. Nothing else happened that night. I guess it was just an electric malfunction, like the leg was maybe pressed a little or whatever. But it's weird that it happens late at night and not right over when I put it on the table.
I was about 10 years old. On vacation visiting family. Uncle lives in an old 3-story farmhouse in a rural area of Michigan. Lets us sleep in, game room, basically a room full of toys and also a PS2 and tons of games. My bro, 12, and I game into the wee hours of the night because vacation, fuck it. First couple nights I hear little house settling noises, nothing out of the ordinary. One night we kept hearing noises in the basement, different from the creaks and cracks of the old house. Distinctly remember cousins saying the house is haunted, especially the basement. We decided to stop playing vidya and just go to sleep. A couple hours later I was woken up by 2 noises in quick succession. First noise is the sound of a Bionicle toy sliding off toy shelf very hard, like it was pulled by a string. The second noise is the same toy smashing my brother in the head. Boom headshot.jpg. Literally so much louder than you would think is possible. I find this hilarious. Obviously bro is woken up. Since I'm laughing, he gets mad at me, thinks I did it to fuck with him. Bro, I just woke up, I have no idea. He's just like, WTF. Out of nowhere, we just hear shrieking. Like some kind of half crying, half screaming wailing coming from upstairs. Start hearing pounding as well. Next thing we know, our 15 years old cousin comes running down the stairs, it's him screaming. Opens basement door, runs downstairs, still screaming loud as fuck. Gives my bro and I PTSD. Cousin is in the basement, screaming, wailing, crying, shrieking. A couple seconds later uncle comes downstairs from his bedroom saying, "Ah shit." Tells us he sleeps walking. Goes into the basement to get him, turn on the light and tries to wake him up. Cousin is still screaming. Now uncle is yelling at him trying to wake him up. Cousin finally wakes up and stops screaming, but it's like he's not even there now, just crying. Uncle brings him out of the basement into where bro and I are sleeping. I can see my cousin is shaking really badly, his skin is completely red like he was burning. Shirt is soaked in streaks of tears and snot. Uncle is just holding him and telling me everything's okay. Cousin has a blank look in his eyes, just crying and crying. Uncle asks him if he's okay, cousin just keeps crying. Goes on for a couple minutes. Finally cousin just stops crying, and goes back to bed. Uncle tells us he has night terrors, doesn't say why it leads to him running into the pitch-black basement and screaming inside it. To this day it's the most paranormal event that I've experienced, with the Bionicle being thrown across the room right into my brother's face, and then that happening right afterwards.
I believe one of my storage chests is haunted and/or is a portal to somewhere. Be 7 years old playing in the room. Hear something rattle in my toy chest. Look over, it's open when I was certain it was closed. Sticking through the top of the toy pile was a plush doll I didn't recognize. Orange curly hair, blue skin, yellow overalls, big beady black eyes. Cautiously move toward my chest and reach slowly to grab it. The doll abruptly darts and buries itself under my toys. Immediately freak out, run downstairs to get my dad and bring him up to investigate. He thinks I'm talking nonsense, but humors me anyways. He empties out the chest toy by toy. It's not there, it never happened again. I swore this happened to me, and was not some kind of dream. I still have the chest, I use it to store blankets.
I played hide and seek alone in my old house just 2 weeks before moving out. With a Furby, which makes it even more terrifying to me now. No one died, was badly injured or haunted forever, but oh boy, spooky stuff happened that night. I wish an edgy 16-year-old me never played that crap when I remember and think about all the shit that could have happened back then. But we have moved out since years already, so I feel safer, but always fear that one day, it is going to come for me or something. Used to think Furbies were cute, but I can tell you that now I refuse to sleep in the same room or house as one. Coming back in a few minutes, dinner time here. I'll tell you what happened, but first to answer your question. There was an endoskeleton, so I was super confused about what to do. Dumb past me took it out. Painfully. If you guys don't know what a Furby looks like without an endoskeleton or what a Furby endoskeleton looks like, well, pick related. How did I not get already scared back then? After trying to take the freaking skeleton out for like an hour, I took some double wrapping transparent thingy for plates and stitched it inside so the rice would not fall from the eyes, beak holes. I filled the body with rice from the kitchen and stitched back the hole I took the endoskeleton from, as tightly as I could so the rice wouldn't fall, leaving the Furby all nice and soft. Except that when you turned it you were faced with empty sockets, so that was more horrifying than nice and soft. I pricked my finger with the needle while stitching back since I was going too fast, so there was a little drop of blood on the fur, not sure if that contributed to something? But I seriously do not want to think about it. Hide and seek with Furby anon here. Let's begin greentexting with what I remember. It was in November circa 2007 or 2008. I am alone at home, brothers are away, school trip and sleepover, parents are out until early morning. They rarely ever go out, so when they do go out they take their time. Grandma is supposed to come usually, but I'm a big girl now. So I gotta stay alone this night. Stupid 16-year-old me is super excited to be alone. Ah yes, late interwebs.jpg. Get tired of doing the usual crap I'm usually doing on the internet and begin to look for spooky stuff. Eventually found a Japanese-related spooky website. Look at the articles and eventually find the one-man hide and seek, read it and get really interested. Was a quiet emo loser IRL but an edgy emo on the internet, and told my other emo friends on MySpace about how we're totally trying this to summon demons. They say they're going to do so, but it's all a bunch of bullshit and they made up some stories afterwards. So it begins. I gather all I need, the needle, the red thread, the rice, and move to the bathroom. Here comes the Furby part. Never really named it a precise name, so decided to name it Violet, for its lilac pastel fur. Painfully remove endoskeleton blah blah blah, stuff it with rice, clip my fingernails and put them in, and put transparent wrap so it doesn't pour out eye holes. Frickin' terrifying, but rit past me think it's perfectly okay. While stitching the hole back I prick my finger. Some droplets of blood on the Furby's fur. Don't think anything of it back then and just wrap the red string left around the Furby. Draw a bath. At this time it was somewhere between midnight and 1 a.m. Take a deep breath, scared but determined, think that nothing can truly happen and harm me. Oh boy, if I knew the thing I just got myself into. Do as the website said. Take a pair of sharp scissors I used for school and close my eyes. Begin the ritual as said by saying, first tag her as my name 3 times, eyes closed, and place it gently in the bathwater. Go out of the bathroom quickly and turn all the lights off on my way and turn on the television, while counting to 10, finally getting a channel that displays loud static. Unlock doors and windows, but leave it in a way so burglars don't come in and parents won't kill me for leaving them all open. Chills in my spine and already feeling uneasy. Of course I was scared. Goes back to the doll. Nothing happened obviously. Takes sharp scissors and says, I found you 3 times. Stabs it, leaving the scissor in it. Close my eyes and say, now you are it 3 times. Take the cup of salt water and take the salt cup with me. Scared teenager.jpg. Dumb me didn't think about where to hide directly and feel super scared. Hide behind the desk, under it. Hands are shaking. Make a messy circle of salt and get in quickly, with my little saltwater cup and my Nokia phone. Also got a little sandwich with me and strawberry syrup in case I am hungry, thirsty. This sounds so stupid I know, but it made me feel safer for some reason. Cannot hear anything. Mom's pet bird is silent, praying it's not gonna get killed and took care of covering its cage before playing. Can only hear the ear-scratching static from TV. 10 minutes pass. Feeling drowsy, but then I notice something. Everything is dead silent. Not even static from TV, not even wind, absolutely nothing. Can only hear my heart thumping and my breath. Begins to feel really scared and uneasy. Hear the radio static turning on and get spooked for a second. Don't remember turning it to static earlier, but it's very possible that I left it on, low volume, and didn't realize. It must be like 1 or 2 a.m. by now, so maybe it's normal that I could hear static? Remain silent and listen closely. Through the static, I can hear a song playing, don't really know which, just like a normal song but with heavy static, messed up sound. I never regretted something that much in my whole life, shaking like hell. Finally cannot hear the song anymore, it cuts back to loud static. TV or radio, I have no idea which, maybe even both. Tears begin to stream down my face, letting a quiet sob out without wanting to. Suddenly static seems to lower to almost complete silence the moment as that sob left my chest. Fucking terrified. Tears streaming down my face, sweating in fear, heart thumping like hell. Dead silent again. I think that I'm about to die. Dead silence, but with some weird noise. There is no god.jpg. Begin to hear some noise. It's fucking breathing. Like some heavy breathing, not really loud but heavy. Remain completely silent. Try to stop crying and make my breath as quiet as possible. My heart is beating like crazy. Realize that it's not just my heart, but it sounds like footsteps in the corridor. Footsteps continue, but what was weird was that it looked as if they were going round and round. Suddenly dead silence again. No static, not anything. Think about calling mom and dad or friend to pick me up and find the doll to burn it. Don't even care about getting grounded or yelled at, I just wanna get out there alive. Pick up my phone. As soon as I turn it on, I hear those interference sounds like when you're about to get a message and you are near computer speakers or something like that. Hell no, JPG. Quickly shut it down, praying not to get heard. Hear the bird upstairs panicking for a moment for no reason. Feels helpless and thinks it's getting killed. Cries again. Covers my face and hugs my knees. Suddenly static and silent again. I just begin to feel dizzy and nauseous on top of that feeling of dread and fear. Hear distant clattering in the bathroom. Gradually fading to silence again. Now is what I think creeped me out the most of all and made me nearly go hysteria mode. Loud TV static again. When everything wasn't dead silent, I could hear static, but it wasn't always at the same volume. Sometimes it was low, sometimes kinda loud or really loud when the radio first turned on. Now if you ever saw the movie Poltergeist, remember when the little girl is trying to speak through the TV? That's all I could use to describe the sound, voice or thing I heard. Through the static I make out a voice. Can't really understand what it's saying. Not even sure if it's English or French. Can't take it anymore and cover my ears with my hands, closing my eyes tightly, crying and shaking in a fetal position. Tries to convince myself that it's all an electricity problem and that our TV is acting up. Hear a really loud ear-piercing sound. Everything felt cold. The temperature was still the same, but it just felt cold in a way I cannot explain, and the feeling of dread intensified more than ever. I can't remember anything after that. I blacked out, maybe lost consciousness from the fear, exhaustion, still don't know today. Wake up to my parents around me super scared. Mom is yelling,
"We need to call the hospital, we need to call the hospital."
Dad is holding me.
What are you doing here? Why did you do those messed up things in the house? What is going on? How did you get those wounds? What happened?
Can't say a word or really understand what's going on and just hug Dad tightly, bury my face and cry my eyes out. Remember about the doll, it's still out there. Can barely walk or even get up. Get out of the room as fast as I can. Walking like Bambi doing his first steps. My parents following me wondering what the hell is happening. At that point I'm just not sane anymore. I can barely stand on my legs. I feel exhausted and that dread feeling is still there. Not as much but still there. Find that fucker Furby in the bathroom. The bathtub is empty. Disgusting strong metal odor. It's sitting inside, those empty sockets looking right at me. Rice is pouring a bit out of the scissor wound. With the little forces I have, I pour the whole cup of cold salt water over it. Punch the rice out of it while shaking uncontrollably. Hurt myself with the needle that was in it somehow. Take the scissors sitting beside it and stab it repeatedly, screaming. I win, 3 times and again. I am fucking hysteric at that point. I look at my bleeding hand and that's all I remember before blacking out again. Parents hold me, scream my name and stuff. They think I became legit insane, called hospital, since I woke up there. Once awake and sort of calmed down and reassured. I just explain everything. They look at me in disbelief. Think it's all foolish teenager edge except for one doctor. The doctor stays alone with me and my parents. Explains that that kind of stuff is considered serious in his family where he comes from and stuff. He was Asian. Tells my parents that it seems crazy but to burn the doll so it's over and do a thing I don't remember well with I don't know what exactly to sue spirits because that's what his grandmother used to do to keep bad spirits away and calm them. Parents are astonished, barely believing it and are mad at me for nearly self-end myself and doing some dark evil magic. Apologize in shame. Explained I wanted to look cool, and get grounded for a month. No internet. But they were so worried I still got 1 or 2 nice small presents for going better. I stayed a while at the hospital to get mental exams. Really scared from the whole thing and get nightmares the entire first week. They gradually disappear. Asked to sleep with a tiny light circle of salt. For some reasons I had tiny wounds, scratches and bruises on my legs, face and hands, arms other than me hurting myself with the needle. Doctor tells me to never do that again and that I am lucky nothing worse happened. Tells me I angered spirits with my shit and that it could be dangerous, that I better never do any of that shit ever again. Super ashamed. Doctor was a bro and tells me we all do stupid crap when young. Came home a week later but shock stayed for several months, would sleep with a light on, circle of salt. I had to get therapy, parents were mildly infuriated. But forgave me and we forgot about it a while after we moved out this damn house. Also amongst the weird stuff there was after that awful night. Objects in obscure places, paper balls from the trash scattered everywhere. Fishes from the fishbowl in the fireplace covered in ashes. Rip fishes, I am so sorry. Bird is okay except that mom told me he had an ash-covered hand, fingerprint on it when she found it out of his cage. But after that whole incident we moved and lived in peace ever since.
Okay, this is about some dolls and toys I had in my house. Be me. B12. It's my sister's birthday. She gets some Bootlegs Snow White doll like pic related. She keeps it on a shelf in our room. Shared room because the house is too small for separate rooms. Be on a bunk bed at the top. I look at the shelf that the doll is on. It's dark but I think I can see it slowly, close its eyes and open them. Look closer and the doll stops closing its eyes. It keeps staring at me for about a minute. It suddenly falls. I keep staring at it. It doesn't move for the rest of the night. My little sister picks it up and plays with it the rest of the week. Another night. In bed again. The doll is in a toy bin. Suddenly hear shuffling from somewhere. See the doll fall from the bin even though it was buried under some other toys. I see the fucking thing use its plastic arms to fucking crawl. It turns to look at me. I stay frozen in fear, ready to scream. It stops moving and stays in a mid-crawl position. I get down from bed to grab it and put it back at the bottom of the toy bin. Put a lid over it and go back to sleep. Next morning my sister picks it up and plays with it. The doll starts acting weird. Doesn't blink when tipped or blinks randomly. Only my sister and I notice, but she's too young to care. I always put it at the bottom of the bin and put the lid on it. A month later, we are throwing away old trash. I sneak the doll into a bag. They take the bag away and with it, the creepy doll. Sister doesn't seem to be affected and plays with the other toys we have. Crisis averted. That's about it for me. Nothing spooky has happened since.
I once had such a toy dog which used to make flips and bark in a high voice like a chihuahua or something like that when I was like 4. I did like it, but only for a week and then it got boring and I completely forgot about it. 3 years later we moved to another town and it was the first time I had my very own room. I was so excited I could not fall asleep. Suddenly I heard a growling. A very, very deep growling. I became totally spooked and snuck to my 2 years older brother's room and asked him to stay this night with him. I had to promise I would sleep the next night in my own room. So I did. I was lying in my bed and everything felt fine, until I almost fell asleep and that deep growling came again. This time I just pulled the blanket over my head and stayed where I was. 'Cause I told my brother I am a big girl now and I fell asleep. This used to happen every night for over a month and I got used to it. One day when I came home from school my mother told me she was cleaning my room when she found that flipsy Doge under my bed at the head end. She wondered, because she hadn't seen this for a while. Neither did I. We tried to turn it on but it did nothing. We gave it away to my younger cousin the same evening, and as you all can guess, the growling in my room at night stopped. I don't think that's paranormal, but it's still creeping me out when I am thinking about it, and I feel uncomfy seeing those things. I am 25 now.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.